are watching NCAA men's college basketball on ESPN+, and we welcome you live inside the Cam Henderson Center in Huntington, West Virginia, on the beautiful campus of Marshall University, where on this late Saturday afternoon, the Thundering Herd of Marshall will be entertaining the Bobcats of Ohio from nearby Athens, Ohio. It's a great rivalry between a pair of programs steeped in tradition, separated by less than 100 miles. Ohio coming in 4-5, Marshall 5-5. Big non-conference matchup for both teams on this December 14th. Greetings from Huntington, along with former Hurt standout Odd Elmore, our great crew. I'm Mark Martin, and we are delighted to have you here on ESPN+. And, well, we are at almost the midway point of December, and these games just keep rolling along. They get more and more important.
Yeah, this is a super important game for both teams. Both teams sort of stuck in neutral so far this year. Ohio comes in at 4-5. Marshall comes in 5-5. You know, two proud programs, both looking to sort of find their groove and get going in the season. So this is a big game for both teams.
Well, lively crowd here always is when Ohio and Marshall get together here. So we look forward to the matchup. Jeff Bowles, once upon a time on the Marshall bench, and going against Cornelius Jackson. Well, we have a new segment here. Ott's Thoughts. And your thoughts on this showdown, my man?
This should be a really interesting game. Both teams like to get up and down. If you're Marshall, you really got to guard the three-point line. Ohio's a prolific three-point shooting team. Their center, A.J. Clater, is an excellent three-point shooter. So all five guys on the floor can stretch it for Ohio. And then conversely, if you're Ohio, you know Marshall gets their work done in the paint, but between Obina and Nate Martin. So you really got to try to limit the easy ones around the basket. So it's two different forms of attack by these teams, but both get it done, as both are high-scoring offenses and some of the tops in the country.
Well, as we chatted it up, Michael Dawson for Marshall, A.J. Clayton for the Bobcats. A couple of players to keep an eye out for here today. Marshall controls the opening tap, and the Thundering Herd will go to work here in the all-white, and Ohio decked out in the gray here.
Interesting to change the note for Marshall. Mark is Nutter, who had been starting all year, is not starting this game, and Jalen Spears is starting in his place. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Marshall going with a new look lineup here to start this game.
Nate Martin driving in, and of course Martin, hard worker, and puts it off the glass and then coming in averaging 11.6. So the Thundering Herd striking first here. Paveletsky driving and scoring. Jackson Paveletsky, the junior out of Kimberly, Wisconsin, transfer from Iowa State, started his career at Wofford. He was the Southern Conference Freshman of the Year. So we're even here at 2, and Dawson twisting and turning.
And Clater, while he might be their best player, Paveletsky's really the head of a snake for Ohio. He's sort of their guard, runs the show. As you saw the last possession, can get inside. He's had a couple double-doubles this year with both points and assists, points and rebounds, so he's really sort of the head of the snake for Ohio.
From the outside, shot won't go for Paveletsky. Zane Mingo maneuvering to Spear. Here's Anachili Killen, and A.J. Clayton gets the block.
And I like what Marshall's doing early on the offensive end. First bucket they got was Nate Martin feeding him in the post. There they were able to work Obina into the sort of the mid post. Drew a foul on Clater. And while the bigs from Ohio sort of match up size-wise, they're more perimeter-oriented guys, whereas Nate Martin and Obina are guys that bang in the post and score inside. So it's good to see Marshall sort of trying to pound Ohio inside early.
So A.J. Clayton got the block, but he also picked up the foul. And Obina, Anachili Killen, at the free throw line, 75% this season. So Anachili Killen drops it in. So Anachili Killen there with Nate Martin, Jalen Spear, Michael Dawson, and Zane Mingo, the starters for Marshall, and our starting lineups presented by your Tri-State Ford dealers. And a foul underneath. A.J. Brown was going up. Brown out of Orlando, Florida. He averages 11.6 a game. And he's joined out there by A.J. Clayton, Aiden Hardaway, Jackson Paveletzke, and Elmore James. Those are the starting five for Jeff Bowles' crew.
And you'll see on the replay, Brown did a good job of just back cutting. Zane Mingo sort of had his head turned. Brown back cut, is able to get to the basket, draw a foul. That's one thing Marshall's going to have to look at with how Ohio plays is they're 5 out, they space the floor, they back cut, they keep the paint open. So Marshall's really going to have to do a good job of guarding their men on the perimeter and being aware of cuts.
Brown, a very good free throw shooter, 89%. He got both, and here is Mingo working down low, couldn't get it to drop. Bobcats on the attack here. Elmore James across the timeline. Brown negotiates, in trouble, couldn't get it to go. Thought he was going to get one there, Ott.
No, it was a great move. The Marshall bench was hollering for a walk, but it looked like he kept his pivot foot and sort of slithered in there and almost got him 2 out of it.
Jeff Bowles in his 6th season as the head coach of the Ohio Bobcats, where he was a standout for the late, great Larry Hunter, and, of course, Cornelius Jackson here at Marshall.
And that's a huge play right there. That's going to be A.J. Clayton's second foul. You know, you might not see him for a good portion of this half, and that takes away, you know, Ohio's biggest threat. He's a very talented guy, can shoot the 3, score inside, and without him, Ohio's going to be missing a big chunk of their offense.
And he averages 16.2, 21 three-pointers on the season, 87 points shy of 1,000 coming into this game with Marshall. Nate Martin up with the first free throw. Martin hitting 60% from the free throw line.
And that's a good job by Nate. Drive in there, created the contact, you know, made it a real physical play and was able to get the second on Clayton. So now he'll be able to, you know, play against Ohio's backup center and see if he can get going a little bit.
Vic Searles out of Hilliard, Ohio. A transfer of Ashland into the game. Shot up by Brown, won't go. Obina and Achille with the rebound, brings it across the 10-second line and hands it to Zane Mingo. Mingo, the Hamilton, Ontario native. Nate Martin working against Searles. Searles at 6'9". Here's Spear, straight away, knocks it down.
And Jalen's played really well in the second half of that game against Wright State on the road. That's probably why he got the nod here. He's been shooting the ball well, and he rewarded Coach Jackson's faith in him by knocking his first one down here today.
Brown in trouble. They whip it around. Paveletzke gets it to Brown, and he will score his first field goal of the game. All MAC second team preseason selection. Ohio the preseason favorite. Nate Martin whips it to Achille. Nice passing by the Herd. Spear fires. This one won't go. Searles with the rebound. Paveletzke with a beautiful pass down low, and Aiden Hardaway collects it and puts it through.
And that's what Paveletzke does for the Ohio team. He pushes pace. He's always under control there. Just brought it down, found the open man, got him an easy layup. He's in control, complete control of their offense at all times, and he's a guy Marshall's really going to have to try to slow down.
Hardaway with the bucket. He averages 11 a game. And Achille has an early 4 for Marshall. 10-8 Thundering Herd on top of the Bobcats here at the Cam Henderson Center.
A dream can begin with any play with the West Virginia Lottery. While every play can't be a winner, every play is a win for West Virginia. Since 1986, proceeds from the lottery have helped keep our state parks serene and majestic. Proceeds have helped fund education, supporting our school systems, and empowering high school graduates with Promise scholarships. Proceeds also provide care for our seniors, enriching lives and communities. No, not every play is a winner, but every play is a win for West Virginia. Dream big, because when you play, West Virginia wins.
At Bombas, We make the most comfortable socks in the history of feet. So comfortable, you'll wish you had more. Visit bombas.com and get 20% off your first order.
The Ohio Bobcats huddled with head coach Jeff Bowles in his 6th season. Ohio leads the series 57-51, 6-9 against the Herd in the last 15 in Huntington, dating back to the 2004-05 campaign. Last season, Ohio lost to Marshall 74-69. Last win in Huntington coming on November 30th, 2011. Outgoing Huntington Mayor Steve Williams, who was a member of the Young Thundering Herd. See Cornelius Jackson huddled with his crew. He's at midcourt honoring the Sun Belt Conference football champs from last weekend. Wonderful victory against the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana. That was quite the game there in the Bayou State.
No, it was a special game by a special team. Marshall there picked to finish 5th in their own division. Ended up going, I think it was 10-3, and win the conference outright. Doing something special that Marshall football hadn't done in a while. So bringing home the championship to Huntington, and it's always good to see Kelly Green and White having success no matter what sport.
Of course, there's been a lot of change since then. Charles Huff, who led Marshall for 4 seasons, he is now at Southern Miss. Tony Gibson was honored as the new head coach. And there is A.J. Clayton, and unfortunately, the standout for the Bobcats is already on the bench with 2 fouls.
Yeah, picked up 2 early ones. Nate Martin did a good job of getting into his chest for the second one. So Ohio's going to have to play with, their backup center and some guys that don't normally fill that role. So we'll see if Marshall's able to take advantage of the non-A.J. Clayton minutes here in this first half. And if they can put a little distance between them, that would be beneficial for them come the second half.
And you had a chance to see there Michael Dawson, and of course Dawson knows all about the Bobcats and the style of play in the Mid-American Conference, having been a standout for the Zips of Akron.
Yeah, and he's a guy that's averaging 10.9 points per game coming in, but over the last 5, that average is closer to 18 a game. He's really found his stroke and found confidence here in the Marshall uniform here lately, so look for him to continue his hot shooting. This game's going to get up and down. There's going to be a lot of open looks to be had, and he's a guy I expect to knock some of those down tonight.
So Marshall with the basketball, and they own the lead here at 10-8. Mingo's shot wouldn't drop. Searles with the nice strong rebound. Always like it when you see a guy like Searles. You go from a smaller division up and prove your worth, and that's what he's done.
No, he's been an excellent backup big for Ohio. He comes in, he gives them good minutes when Clayton's out. Unfortunately for him there, just got going a little too fast and turned it over, but he's an excellent guy. He doesn't give up the shop when, the starter's out. He comes in, he gives them positive minutes, and he contributes to this team.
Ohio opened the season falling to James Madison 88-78. Searles picking up the foul there, and they defeated UNC Asheville, lost to Illinois State, lost to Memphis, and then lost a tough overtime game to Middle Tennessee. Down Portland, fell to Texas State, and have since beaten Robert Morris and Morehead State, back-to-back victories. Common opponent is Morehead for the Herd and the Bobcats. Ohio on the move after Marshall comes up empty. Pavletzky can't get it to go. Gets it over into the corner there to James's. Pavletzky was in trouble here. Spears with an open move there. Jalen Spear will put it through. He's got an early 5 for the Thundering Herd.
And it's good to see him get into the basket. A lot of his scores this year have been from three-point land. He's a guy the coaching staff's told me can put it on the ground a little bit, can do a little bit of everything. So it's nice to see him starting to get more confidence in that knee, get all the way to the rim, and start to showcase more of his full arsenal.
Dealt with the injury early on. Spear averages 7.1 a game. Bobcats come up short on the offensive end, so now Marshall leading it by 4 will look to add to the advantage. Anna Chili Killen. It is Obina and Chili Gillum with a nice turnaround there. He has 6.
And that was great patience by Obina. They brought the double. He looked to pass out. Defender sort of ran out, leaving him with the mismatch on Pavletsky, and then he knocked it in. So great patience there by Obina in the post and not panicking.
Nice job here by A.J. Sheldon, who's into the contest. Hardaway goes to Vic Searles. Searles wanting to lean in there against Martin, and a nice play by Searles.
And that's what I mean, quality player there. He is a backup center for Ohio, but, you know, he's going against the first-team preseason all-around the Sun Belt. Didn't give any ground, took it right in his chest, finished it. He's a really nice piece for this Ohio Bobcat team.
14 points, 7 rebounds against Robert Moore. Scored 710 points during his time with Ashland and Anna Chili Gillum. Very simple, and puts it through. 16-10, Thundering Herd. A.J. Sheldon, doubling Kaufman High School there in Columbus, and ball out of bounds. Now they're going to get Clayton back in there. Kay Gibbs has checked in for the Thundering Herd, the transfer from Grace College. Plainfield, Indiana native. Wyatt Fricks will enter the game for Marshall. Last time we were together, he had that electrifying dunk that made SportsCenter's top 10.
No, he's a big-time athlete. But if you're Marshall right here, you need to get Clayton in the pick and roll or get his man in the post-up. You need just to attack him. If you can get his 3rd foul, you really won't see him again this half. And then, you know, hamstring him the rest of the game. So Marshall has to be smart here on offense and really try to find Clayton and put him in the actions.
Elijah Elliott has checked in out of Orlando, wears number 6. Here's a shot by Mingo. Looks good, but wouldn't go. But Gibbs snags the rebound, and Marshall will set up again here. Jalen Spear, 6'1", 182. The graduate student. What a play by Spear off the glass. One of your moves there, back in the day.
No, he realized he had the big on him, took off, got to his strong hand, threw up a little hook shot, nice soft touch and finish. He's a guy I expect more of that as, you know, the season unfolds. He's starting to get more and more confident in that knee that you mentioned, so it'll be good to see his whole package.
Timeout on the floor here in Huntington. Marshall leading Ohio by a count of 18-10.
Rising. The crowd, the score, rising. Greatness, rising.
Who says that business isn't personal? That what we do should be separate from who we are? At Encova Insurance, we do things differently. Our agents partner with small businesses to get to the heart of what matters. Because we're in the peace of mind business, and we take that very personally with auto, home, and business insurance. At Encova, we're ready for what's next.
Jack Field.
Is huddled with his Ohio Bobcats. He's a great player for Ohio. Geno Ford and all those guys with the late, great Larry Hunter, Gary Trent. 6th season now and 102 victories, 157 overall. He was the head coach at Stony Brook for 3 seasons. Coached Ohio to the MAC championship in the NCAA tournament 2021 season, but just an outstanding individual and an outstanding coach.
No, he's a great coach, but he's an even better person. He's a guy I have the privilege of knowing. He spent a lot of time in Charleston, West Virginia. He's assistant coach at UC. Even once he moved on to be assistant at Ohio State and other places, he always, kept in touch, and we'd run into him everywhere, and he always speaks. And that's just one thing about Coach Bowles is he's a good coach, but he's a great human, and that's what I find really important.
And speaking of coaches, while we were in the break, the new head football coach for the Thundering Herd, we just touched upon that a moment ago. Tony Gibson addressing the crowd. West Virginia native out of Van High School in Boone County. Takeaway by the Thundering Herd. Marshall up 8 here and looking to get a double-digit advantage here over the Bobcats. Dawson dishes to Gibbs. Gibbs working against Searles. Now here's Dawson, who can light it up from the three-point line. Couldn't get that one to drop. Searles gets it into the hands of Sheldon. Sheldon driving, missed it. Here comes Spear. Spear will step back, and a beautiful release there by Spear, and he puts it through. And Spear now with 9 points in the basketball game.
And so far, almost halfway through this first half, Marshall sort of followed the game plan. They've kept Ohio off the three-point line, haven't given up any threes. On the other end, they've attacked the paint, scored some easy ones, had a couple open looks from Spears from 3, so they're doing a good job. They just have to keep staying connected on the defensive end.
Good job by Searles there. He now has 4 in the game. He was an all-great Midwest second-team selection. Came in averaging 6.3 a game. Mingo now goes to work here for the Thundering Herd. Just kind of spins around there and takes it himself. Couldn't get it to go. Searles with the rebound. And Sheldon across the 10-second line. Out comes Sheldon. Driving in the lane. Out to Searles, and the big guy couldn't get it to go. He has 2 threes on the season. That one wouldn't drop. Steal here by Brown, and a foul will be called against the Thundering Herd.
And great job by Brown right there, just sort of realizing where Mingo was going to go with the ball. Got his hands right there in the passing lane, came up with the steal. That's sort of the first time Ohio's been able to, get their hands on a pass, get a steal here in the first half. Marshall's been in a pretty good rhythm on the offensive end, so look for Ohio to maybe pick up the intensity defensively and try to force some more turnovers and see if they can't get out in transition, see if they can't get their offense going a little bit.
Jacob Gibbs has checked in for the Herd, and getting away from his man and scoring is Jackson Pavletsky, and Pavletsky now has 4 points in the basketball game. 20-14 the score. Ryan Nutter is into the lineup for the Thundering Herd. James is back in there for the Bobcats. Down on the floor goes Jacob Gibbs. Jacob Gibbs, Cade Gibbs, part of a set of triplets, and they were outstanding players at Grace College in the NAIA division of college basketball. And give the ball over to Ohio. Fricks is out. Cade Gibbs is out. And the ball goes out of bounds. Pretty good defense there by Nutter.
Yeah, great defense by Nutter. He jumped the screen. That way Pavletsky couldn't run off it, sort of like he did last time, forced him back out the three-point line, then moved his feet, stayed in front. Great defensive effort right there.
And Nutter working hard against
He's just a little too physical on Pavletsky right there, Mark. Tried to sort of jump the handoff and beat Pavletsky to the spot. Unfortunately, the ref said it was a little too much body contact, and he picked up the foul.
Here's James with the basketball. James with the bouncer. And a good job by Brown down low. Brown has 6. And Ohio Getting it to within 4 here. Spear to Anachilli-Killen. Hands it to Nutter. Jacob Gibbs out on the floor along with Nate Martin. That's the 5 on the floor for this Thundering Herd team. And Obina, Anachilli-Killen knocks it down. Anachilli-Killen already in double figures with 10 from the outside. And there's what we've been waiting to see from Clayton.
No, Clayton is one of the better players in the whole MAC. He's going to be a first-team all-conference guy when it's all said and done. He's going to be a professional for a long time because he's got great size. He can shoot the ball. Nate Martin's going to have to do a better job, especially when they put him in pick and pop actions. You can't show too long because if he gets away from you, he's going to knock it down, and that's the biggest weapon for Ohio. So Nate's going to have to be quick, show real quick, and then get back to his man.
Anachilli-Killen committing the foul. That's his first, team foul number 4. And into the contest for Marshall, number 9, Caden White. Looked pretty good against Wright State the other night.
Yeah, he's a guy that sort of played towards the end of the games this year, and when he's gotten his time at the end of the games, he's made shots. Struggling against Wright State early. Coach Jackson went to White. He came in, played well, and now he's finding himself in the rotation.
Marshall gets the ball back off the miss by Pavletsky. Ryan Nutter into the lane, and Nutter using the glass and dropping it in. 24-19 game. Pavletsky dealing there with Jacob Gibbs from the outside. Stroking it is Brown. Second 3 for the Bobcats, and for Brown, it's his 14th of the season.
And if you're Marshall, you got to be careful here. You played the first 12 minutes of the game without giving up a 3 to Ohio. Now here in the last minute, you've already given up 2. That's what they do. Marshall on defensively has to focus on staying locked into the shooters and playing good individual defense, because if you're forced to help too much, that puts Ohio at an advantage, and they're going to get open looks, and they're a good shooting team.
Nate Martin working hard there against Clayton. Shot wouldn't fall. Here comes Pavletsky racing across the 10-second line and dumps at the last second. Elmore James draws a whistle there. And the foul is going to be called on Nate Martin. But from the outside, knocking it down is A.J. Brown. Herd and Bobcats, good game, 2-point difference.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
As a kid, I fell in love with basketball. But early in my career, my world began to close in. It was my first migraine, and it hit hard. I had to dig deep and remember, you don't face challenges alone. By seeking help, I stopped migraine from stopping me. Because true support is knowing someone's got your back. Talk to a doctor about migraine today at PfizerForAll.com.
I never flew a fugitive before.
I have to get him to New York so he can testify.
I think we should turn around.
Tell me how to fly this thing, or we will die out here.
Pull it up! Pay attention. That's the good part.
Flight Risk, January 24th.
This is a classic got up too fast from tying your shoes back injury. Not to be confused with the you threw your back out sneezing back injury. Lucky for you, an Amazon One medical provider can help. And if it comes down to needing meds, Amazon Pharmacy will deliver them to your door. Of course, you have to get to the door.
First-year head coach Cornelius Jackson, huddled with his first Marshall basketball team, coming in at 5-5. An assistant under the great Dan D'Antoni, associate head coach prior to the 23-24 season. Worked at UT Martin, West Virginia State, Cleveland State. Player of the Year in West Virginia. Under the late, great Ron Lewis there at Oak Hill High School in West Virginia. And he's not the only Player of the Year on that bench. Mark Klein, former West Virginia standout from Williamson, played at Wake Forest. Adam Williams, Player of the Year, played for his father, Tex Williams, a Marshall Hall of Famer. And there's Clayton scoring. And Adam Williams played at Kentucky and then came here to Marshall. What a coaching staff both coaches have assembled in Huntington and Athens, respectively. 24-24 game here. Clayton has 5 following that bucket. Here's Nutter on the move. Kicks it to White.
And this is where you need to attack. Clayton's got 2 fouls. Go to Nate Martin. Let him try to score a basket. You'd like to see him go more towards the basket. There, he sort of faded away and bailed Clayton out. If you're Nate, you tell him, hey, go right through Clayton's chest. Let's get his 3rd foul. Let's get him out of here for at least the rest of this half.
And Brown starting to light up his 2nd 3 of the basketball game. He's in double figures with 12. White's shot won't go, and a strong rebound there by Martin, but he is going to pick up a 2nd foul here in this game.
He was just a little too physical on the rebound, got 2 hands in the back of the Ohio player. Sort of an easy call from the referee. It's just one of those deals where you got a big guy on a little guy, so the contact looks a lot worse than it probably is. But the referee made the correct call there.
Spear back into the game for Marshall. Mingo back out there. Kay Gibbs up off the bench for the Herd, ready to get back in there. 3-pointer that would not go. Looked good there by Pavletsky, but wouldn't drop it. Another opportunity, and it's Brown. This one won't drop. And a Chili Killen.
And Marshall lucky. They defensively broke down twice, gave up wide open 3s to Pavletsky and Brown. If they want to win this game, they're going to have to sort of clean that up on the defensive end.
Catch and release there by Spear. Couldn't get it to drop. Pavletsky on the move. Pavletsky had his shot altered there by Anna Chili Killen. Nate Martin will bring it across the timeline, but Marshall wants a timeout here with 4:54 remaining in our first half of basketball.
And I think Coach Jackson sort of seeing what I'm seeing and took a quick timeout as Marshall has lost their defensive principles here the last, I believe it was from the 8-minute stretch, so the last 3 minutes, 6 seconds from when Ohio made their first 3. Ohio's offense is starting to flow a little bit. Marshall's not being as active defensively and, imposing their will on Ohio like they did early in the game. So Coach Jackson taking a quick timeout, try to draw up something, get an easy bucket, and then really instill on the guys, hey, we got to play defense. That's where this game's going to be won.
Marshall defeated Davis and Elkins in its opener 90-57, lost to Toledo 90-80, down Southern Indiana 77-63 in the foul marathon game that it still gives you nightmares.
I still have nightmares, Mark.
They won over Bellarmine 83-62, fell to a great Purdue team 80-45, and then wins over South Carolina State 82-53, lost to Western Kentucky 90-72, got the win over Moorhead 80-77, so since lost to UNC Wilmington 78-69, and Wright State 88-79. Happy to be back home here looking for that 6th win of the season. Here is Kay Gibbs, and he will put it through his first basket of the game. Gibbs coming in, averaging 4.4 a contest.
He's only averaging 4.4, but the last 3 or 4 games he's played really well. He's been able to get to that basket, uses his size and athleticism and strength to, get all the way to the rim and finish. He's been a big piece for Marshall defensively. He's done that a lot lately. He's a great defender, so he's really coming to his own, and that he's sort of helped Marshall, on both ends of the court.
Well, he saw the defense, and the defense turned into offense for Dawson.
And Mike Dawson's the one guy you don't want shooting if you're Ohio. The way he shot the ball this last handful of games, if he gets a good, clean look, you can pretty much count it as 3.
He has 24 now from behind the 3-point line. Bobcats whipping around here. Elmore James on the move, working against Kay Gibbs, and Nice put back there by Searles. Searles with 6 here in the first half. We're even at 29-29 until Dawson strikes with another 3.
And I'll just go ahead and repeat what I just said. If he gets a good look, it's probably going in. He's been shooting the ball excellent. He's a guy for Marshall that's really, come on as a big-time scorer, averaging about 18 a game over the last 5. So he's sort of stepped up and been the leader, for this last stretch of basketball for Marshall, the last handful of games.
Yeah, they just didn't hear you. You got to talk louder, buddy. They're going to hear you with that. Bobcats come up empty. Thundering Herd with the basketball here. And that 3-point lead thanks to the Dawson three-pointer. Here's Jalen Spear. Spear with the left hand. Searles, what a big reach there for that rebound. Here comes Brown. Whips it into the corner. James trying to tie it up here.
And if you're Marshall, I don't mind Spears taking the rim on that one, but you've just had a guy hit 2 threes in a row. There's no chance if a guy makes 2 threes in a row, the third possession, it shouldn't be flowing through him, trying to get him another shot. So look for Marshall to try to draw up a play right here and try to see if they can't find Mike Dawson for a 3.
And a Chili Killen, meanwhile, working against Hadaway. And Hadaway with a nice snag there. Crowd wanted to foul there, but Hadaway altered the shot, snagged the rebound. Here is Hadaway out front. Hadaway, young man from Lafayette, Georgia. Really good player. And had some double-figure games, all but 2 this season. 32-29. Ohio can't come up with points on the offensive end. There's something on the court there. Jeff Bowles was pointing it out. So a timeout here on the floor. Another look there at Anna Chili Killen. And you know what he's all about. Marshall by 3 over the Bobcats of Ohio here in Huntington.
A moment. A lot can happen in a moment. It can be fast-paced or time can stand still. Up in the air, down in the trenches. High-tech, old school. High energy, low-key. Lend a hand. Learn to let go. Find your people and your purpose. We meet the moment. We are Marshall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the power of a word. The anticipation, the adrenaline, the hair on the back of their necks rising. The crowd, the score rising. Greatness rising, the sun rising. Sometimes a word is best left all by itself. The Sun Belt Conference, 14 universities, 10 states rising.
Inside the Cam Henderson Center. 2:11 to go in the first half, along with former Herd standout Ott Elmore, our great crew, and Mark Martin. Delighted to have you with us here on ESPN Plus. A late Saturday afternoon showdown between 2 great rivals, Marshall and Ohio. 32-29. Of course, the rich history between the 2 programs during Marshall's days in the Mid-American Conference.
Yeah, 2 great programs, a good rivalry. We always played Ohio when I was here, so good to see this rivalry continue. But if you're Coach Jackson here out of the timeout, you had Mike Dawson hit 2 threes in a row just a second ago. Offense sort of went away from for 2 possessions. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come off an elevator screen, or maybe a strong play that they go to normally out of timeouts is he sets a cross screen for either Nate Martin or Obina, and then somebody else sets a pin down for him. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a shot coming from Dawson here and a play drawn up to get him involved, especially since he's made 2.
Here is Dawson looking for the 3, falling down, couldn't get it to go. Pavletsky brings it across the 10-second line. Bobcats flip it around to the outside. Here is Sheldon. He too drops to the court on the three-point attempt. Sending her back to work here now to Zane Mingo. Jalen Spear from the corner. Got it. His second three of the game. Marshall now with 4 3-pointers in the contest. We'll have a foul called here on Cade Gibbs. That will be his first. Our officials are Kevin Mathis, Tim Fitzgerald, and Jean-Pierre Sean-Upin.
And that's how you know they've done a good job, is because we're 18 and a half minutes in before we've had to introduce who these gentlemen are. So they've done a good job of keeping this game under control and you know, making sure they're not part of the storyline for this game.
Well, I tried to usually do it early, but we had lots of thoughts, and so that took up the time there that I usually.
That's a very, very short segment, Mark. Not a whole lot of thoughts going on.
Good look there at Jeff Bowles, 6th season at the helm of the Ohio Bobcats. Sheldon at the free throw line. Sheldon 5 of 8 on the season, coming in 35 to 31. Sheldon averages 6.3 a game, had 6 threes in a game against Memphis earlier this season. Here's Dawson, and the three-pointers, looking for 2, and he gets it, and a foul.
No, Dawson's just been a different kid these last 5 games. He really struggled shooting the ball early. He's just taking some time to get to adjust it, but now he's had a couple big games. He's really looking to drive the ball to the rim and score. He's looking to get open shots from the perimeter. He's sort of doing a little bit of everything, and as each game goes, you see his confidence growing more and more, and he's really stepped up and really been Marshall's go-to player these last 5 games.
Hadaway committed the foul. So we go under a minute here with Marshall owning a 7-point lead for the Bobcats. Pavletsky hands it to Hadaway. Hadaway to Searles. Pavletsky with it again. Elmore James working in traffic and got it to go. That is his first basket of the game, and he really earned that one.
No, great move. You know, if your name's Elmore, you're probably going to be able to score the ball. So good to see that that rule still hold true.
And James.
That's true. If you're Ohio, you need to stop here. You're down 5. You've survived 17 minutes with Clayton with 2 fouls. You picked up 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes of the game. You're still in shouting distance. If you get a stop, you'll go in feeling good. And it looks like they're going to do just that.
And Mingo couldn't get that one to drop. Here's Dawson at the buzzer.
And they did not do just that, Mark. They had a stop. Dawson did a great job jumping the passing lane, hit the 3 at the buzzer. So instead of feeling good going in the locker room down 5, now you feel dejected going down 8. And we'll see if Marshall can build off that momentum going into the second half. What a play by Dawson. Great individual effort there to, give him a shot in the arm heading to halftime.
Well, he has played at every level in the city of Huntington. Youth league, high school, middle school, prep school, and now in his final collegiate season here in Huntington with the Thundering Herd, and he nails his 3rd three-pointer. All right, we have reached halftime, and Marshall with the great play by Dawson to close it out. Nothing but net. Herd 41, Ohio 33 at the break.
A dream can begin with any play with the West Virginia Lottery. While every play can't be a winner, every play is a win for West Virginia. Since 1986, proceeds from the lottery have helped keep our state parks serene and majestic. Proceeds have helped fund education, supporting our school systems, and empowering high school graduates with Promise scholarships. Proceeds also provide care for our seniors, enriching lives and communities. No, not every play is a winner, but every play is a win for West Virginia. Dream big, because when you play, West Virginia wins.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Now this is taxes. File free in the app by 2/18 when you switch to TurboTax. Do it yourself.
You told Mom to send her prescription to Amazon Pharmacy. She didn't.
Price check and pharmacy.
All Mom had to do was use Amazon Pharmacy, and her meds would get delivered right to her door.
Maya knows how quality care can bring out a smile. But it's been a few dog years since she was able to enjoy a smile of her own. Good thing Aspen Dental offers affordable complete care all in one place. And new patients without insurance get $29 exams and x-rays, plus 20% off treatment plans for everyone. Loving our patients unconditionally. It's one more way. Aspen Dental is in your corner.
Come and get your... Some people just know they can save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first.
Alrighty. Who's ready for my famous charred duck?
Like, you know, to check the mascot first before bringing food to a tailgate.
Touch this baby.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
109th meeting all time between the visiting Ohio Bobcats and the homestanding Thundering Herd of Marshall. At the break, it is Marshall with a 41-33 lead, along with former Herd standout Todd Elmore, our outstanding crew, Mark Martin. Happy to have all of you with us here on ESPN Plus for this showdown. And this was a tight game, kind of battle back and forth, and a big spark for the Herd there at the end of halftime.
Yeah, big momentum boost. If you're Marshall, you've got it out to an 8-point lead. Sort of the biggest lead you've had all game. Has been nip and tuck back and forth, but you know that's really dejecting if you're Ohio. You got a big stop. You were going to go in down at 5 at the most. At halftime, you turn it over. A guy hits a fadeaway three. Now you're down 8. But good news if you're Ohio, you got Clayton coming back for the entire second half. He has 2 fouls, so he's got 3 to go with. You played that whole first half without your best scorer, and you're still only down 8 points. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
No, we have two lead changes and 3 ties in that first half of action. And, well, again, Marshall, doing what they can do, and they hit those 3-pointers. But Ohio found the arc to its liking as well.
Yeah, they struggled early on. They didn't make a 3-pointer until about the 8-minute mark in that first half. But then they've got it going. They've hit 3 in the last 7 minutes. So if you're Marshall, you got to continue running them off the line. Make them score inside. Make them score on post-ups. Just don't let them get going from 3 because they can drown you with a barrage of threes.
Let's talk about Monday. Marshall at home here to go up against the Bobcats of West Virginia Wesleyan from the NCAA Division II Mountain East Conference, a conference in which you once coached. And so you know a little bit about that Bobcat program, going against those guys when you were at Glenville. And then later in the evening, a pretty big soccer match is going to unfold there in Cary, North Carolina, with Chris Grassie's Thundering Herd. How about that?
Yeah, he's done an amazing job with that program. He's a good coach, great coach. He was at UC. He got UC's program. Is one of the top D2 programs in the country. Came here. Now Marshall's probably the preeminent soccer program in the country, going for their second national championship in the last handful of years. Always, top 5 in the country. So I'm rooting for them to get it done. They play a tough Vermont team. I don't profess to know anything about soccer, but I know I'll be rooting for them, and I'll be tuned in.
Yeah, a big 1-0 victory over the Buckeyes of Ohio State last night, and that propels Chris Grassie into a national championship match for a second time in his wonderful career here at Marshall. And as Ott said, he had UC in 2 national championships as well. So we wish them all the best. And again, we will look forward to that on Monday night. Halftime here in Huntington. Marshall with an 8-point lead over the Bobcats of Ohio. Our halftime coverage on ESPN Plus continues in a moment.
Ooh, the DQ Cheeseburger Lovers deal is back. 2 single cheeseburgers for only $5, or 2 double cheeseburgers for just $7? For real? Oh, tell me it's as good as it looks. Deal this good speaks for itself, I guess. But you better get it before it's gone. DQ, happy tastes good.
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster.
This is star power from the jump. The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
You ready for the NFL playoffs?
What you got, Chad?
Let's put cameras on every player. Weather and 4D. Hibachi vendors.
What do you want? Shrimp. Okay, right up.
So you guys like my ideas?
No.
This is TGL presented by SoFi. 24 of the best players in the world. No, the universe. Pitted against each other 3 versus 3. In a first-of-its-kind arena. More Tiger, more Rory, more everybody. Hey, 6 teams. Atlanta, Boston, LA, New York, the Bay, and Jupiter.
Not that Jupiter.
What else? We added shot clocks, mic'd up players, a ref, playoffs, 15 holes, overtime, timeouts. Did we mention the green moves? High tech, higher stakes, and you get to watch it all on ESPN, baby. Keep up. It's golf.
For the love of football, derbies, ultras, and Humba, and every match on ESPN+.
Nothing like in the Bundesliga.
For the love of Bundesliga, exclusively on ESPN+. To the end zone for the touchdown.
Oh my goodness.
This is TGL presented by SoFi. 24 of the best players in the world. No, the universe. Pitted against each other 3 versus 3. 6 teams in a first-of-its-kind arena. We added shot clocks, mic'd up players, playoffs, overtime, and you get to watch it all on ESPN, baby. Keep up. It's golf.
NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000 plus out-of-market games and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
For the love of football, derbies, ultras, and Humba, and every match on ESPN+.
Nothing like in the Bundesliga.
For the love of braces and hat-tricks.
With a belter!
Belters and wonder goals.
Oh, that's a wonder goal!
Number 9s and the Torschützenkönig. For the love of the Invincibles.
Leverkusen, unbeaten champions.
For the love of Bundesliga, exclusively on ESPN+.
It's time to get in the game and sign up to ESPN Plus.
Back inside the Cam Henderson Center, we have the Thundering Herd of Marshall returning to the court. Bobcats of Ohio still in the locker room. 41-33 showdown at the moment between these two rivals, playing for the 109th time. Last season, Marshall winning at the Convo, where it's not easy to win there at that wonderful arena in Athens. So just checking out some of the records of Mid-American Conference teams at the moment. Still early stages of the season. These are just non-conference records with Kent at 7-2, Akron, Toledo, Central Michigan, Miami, Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, all there with 5 or more wins.
No, Max is a very strong basketball conference. Of course, we saw Toledo, who's up near the top, coming here and were able to knock off the Herd. This Ohio team looks very formidable as well. The Max going to be just, a war, as it always is, but Ohio's going to do just fine in that conference and finish up in the top third, like they normally do.
Of course, Marshall, a longtime member of the Mid-American Conference. But I mentioned the Convo. Ohio has won 569 games to just 182 losses there inside their home arena. Sunbelt, meanwhile, Arkansas State, Texas State, App State, South Alabama, James Madison, Troy, Georgia Southern, Coastal, Marshall, all with 5 or more wins.
Yeah, Arkansas State, of course, leading the way. They had a big win over a good Memphis team the other day that I watched. Arkansas State sort of looks like the class of the conference, but this Marshall team's been getting better and better. So by the time conference play runs around, look for Marshall to finish, in one of those top spots.
Now Marshall has the 8-point advantage here at halftime. Teams are nearing second half play. We will return to the Cam Henderson Center in a moment, watching men's college basketball on ESPN+.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Enjoy.
Stuffed crust, buttery garlic spread. Little Caesars really stepped it up with their stuffed crazy crust.
They really jazzed it up. Yeah!
They really plussed this crust up.
They really dolled it up. Everyone out my house. How did y'all even get in here?
The housekeeper gave me a key.
Order stuffed crazy crust for $9.49 and get your game day delivered with Little Caesars.
Pizza.
This is a classic got up too fast from tying your shoes back injury. Not to be confused with the you threw your back out sneezing back injury. Lucky for you, an Amazon One medical provider can help. And if it comes down to needing meds, Amazon Pharmacy will deliver them to your door. Of course, you have to get to the door.
When it comes to tickets, pick TickPick. You're picking the best prices guaranteed, with no hidden fees ever. 360-degree seat views, and price tracking with real-time updates. So pick TickPick for your favorite band, your favorite team, or a new family memory. Pick from thousands of live events. Don't let overpriced tickets and fees get between you and a great night. No hidden fees, more savings. Download the TickPick app.
I forgot to wash my work shirt.
Just wear it again. I added Down the Unstoppables with odor blocker to the wash, and it keeps our clothes fresh all day.
Ooh, I'm gonna be feeling it at work today. And on my way to work. And through security.
Looks like she uses Unstoppables too.
It smells so good, I'm actually paying attention.
Downy Unstoppables with odor blocker for all day freshness. Smell unstoppable.
None of us make it very far alone. It takes a team. A community that writes off no one and believes in the potential of everyone. Having a team like that changes the game.
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster.
This is star power from the jump. The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
Time to take a look at our first half stats presented by University Ford. What jumps out at you there, Ott?
I think what really jumps out at me is the assists. Marshall only has 6 assists on 16 made buckets. That's not a very high percentage for Marshall. That would worry me a little bit if I'm the coaching staff. You did score 41 points in the first half, but normally when Marshall's humming offensively, you know, they're getting 14 assists on 16 made buckets because, you know, they're not a team that plays a lot of one-on-one. It's a lot of everybody gets each other involved. So that sort of worries me if I'm Marshall. But conversely, Ohio only has 7 assists, and they sort of play the same way Marshall does. So that means you're doing an excellent job defensively on them, making sure, you know, they're trying to beat you one-on-one, and that ball's not flowing around, just zipping around on offense. So, you know, sort of similar points of view on that stat, but look for Marshall to sort of share the ball more this half and see if they can't get that assist number up, because that means they're playing good offense.
Michael Dawson, who had the ball in his hands last in that first half, he's the trigger there to get it started here in the second half. Hit that big three-pointer. Nate Martin to Dawson, and picking right up where he left off when he hit that buzzer beater at the intermission.
And that's what I'm talking about there. They fed it into Nate Martin. Took 1-2 drills, boom, assist right there to Dawson for 3. That's when they're playing good basketball. When they're setting each other up, that's when the offense is really humming, and that's good that's a good sign for your Coach Jackson coming out to the second half.
Brown, who led the Bobcats in scoring in that first half with 12, and he knocked down a pair of threes. Couldn't get that one to go. Dawson now with 15 in the game. He leads all scores, and it's time going to drive in, then dish at the last second, and a whistle and a foul going to be called on Elmore James. It's his first.
And you like Dawson's head there, driving in there, but you've hit 4 threes already. Let that 3 fly. If you miss a couple, then start driving in there. But when you're as hot as he's been shooting the ball, you know, this last handful of games, any shot he can get up from 3 is going to be a good shot.
Dawson on the baseline will knock this one in.
Or two, Mark. Just any shot he shoots is a good shot. 3 or 2, that's who you need to be running your offense through right now.
He is up to 17 in the game. Jalen Spear had 12 in the first half. Obina and Chilikillen in double figures with 10. And again, Brown, the lone double-digit scorer for the Bobcats. So 46-33. Marshall stretching it out a bit here now. Early on in this second half of play. Mingo in trouble. Martin gets the rebound. Here's Mingo now on the baseline drive and will score it. And I think Jeff Bowles wants to talk things over.
And it might seem silly, Mark, but that's why that last play of the first half was so big. Just a huge momentum, just a gut punch. You know, Dawson got the steal, hit the 3. Now they've scored the first 7 points of the second half. That's a 10-0 run in the course of a minute and, 30 seconds. So great job by Marshall. They're up 15. We'll be back after the break.
I'm the team mascot, and boy, am I running late. Ow, what a hit. And if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage, the cost to cover that might tank your season. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
You told Mom to send her prescription to Amazon Pharmacy. She didn't.
Price check in pharmacy.
All Mom had to do was use Amazon Pharmacy, and her meds would get delivered right to her door.
Own a design studio. Win a really big design contract. Realize you're more of a creative type than a finance type. Realize you got this. Use QuickBooks to get your cash flow flowing. Get live expert assistance to maximize your tax savings.
I can help with that.
Get back to doing what you love. Manage and grow your business all in one place. Intuit QuickBooks, your way to money.
Maya knows how quality care can bring out a smile. But it's been a few dog years since she was able to enjoy a smile of her own. Good thing Aspen Dental offers affordable complete care all in one place. And new patients without insurance get $29 exams and x-rays, plus 20% off treatment plans for everyone. Loving our patients unconditionally. It's one more way. Aspen Dental is in your corner.
Come and get your love.
For the love of football, derbies, ultras and Humba. And every match on ESPN+.
Nothing like in the Bundesliga.
For the love of braces and hat-tricks.
With a belter.
Belters and wonder goals.
Oh, that's a wonder goal.
Number 9s and the Torschützenkönig. For the love of the Invincibles.
Leverkusen, unbeaten champions.
For the love of Bundesliga. Exclusively on ESPN+.
Biggest lead of the basketball game. Marshall on top of Ohio, 48-33. Marshall's had 10th in the preseason Sun Belt Conference poll. Arkansas State, James Madison, who Ohio has played, Troy, Louisiana, Southern Miss, App State, Texas State.
I tell you what, 10's going to be a little too low if Michael Dawson keeps playing like Michael Jordan out here. He's going to be one of the better players in the conference if he keeps shooting the ball like this.
Mentioned Texas State. Ohio has also played that set of Bobcats this season from the outside and gunning it in. A sweet-looking shot there by Aiden Hadaway, number 10, with his 10th three-pointer of the season. 48-36. Dawson negotiating there against Brown. Each team's respective leading scorer at the moment. Here's Spear. Mingo maneuvers. Nate Martin going to have to hurry here, and he got it to go through, but a little too late.
But just a bad possession if you're Marshall offensively. Nobody ever really swung the ball, got the ball moving, didn't really break anybody down individually. But Marshall's got to keep that ball humming. That way they create angles, they create gaps, and then they'll get open looks. So you can't slow down just because you built a little bit of a lead here early in the second half.
Let's see if that three-pointer by Hadaway, and then the defensive stop sparks the Bobcats here on the road. Nice pass down low, and Brown will score and get fouled.
And Brown's been a big bright spot for Ohio here. He's got 14 points already. He's sort of kept them in this game. He's played good defense on the other end. So Marshall's really got to look to try to slow him down, because if they can slow him down offensively, everybody else from Ohio sort of struggle to get going.
Dawson commits the foul. Team foul number 1 on the Thundering Herd. And Brown is 3 for 3 at the free throw line and has 15 in the game. So Ohio has trimmed it back to single digits.
And I like this from Ohio. They're picking up the full court pressure a little bit. Even if it's just a little bit of token pressure, make sure Marshall's, being solid with the ball. Give them a chance to make a mistake. And Ohio's trying to speed up a little bit, give them a little bit different look since Marshall's been in a rhythm offensively.
Zane Mingo, I thought about it, had a little bit of room there, but instead gives way to Anachili Killen, who will launch up the shot from right there on the three-point line. Nice job by Clayton. Getting it for the Bobcats, and from the corner won't go for Elmore James. Out of bounds, and back it goes to Marshall.
And Marshall dodged a bullet there. Didn't do a good job in transition and matching up. Ohio and Elmore James got an open look out of the corner. Pretty good shooter, so that's not one you want to give up a whole lot more of this game if you're Marshall.
Jalen Spear attacking, can't get it to go. Martin tried to keep it alive for the Herd and smacks it away out of bounds. Hadaway will send it in here. Career high 20 twice. Averaged 18 points, 11 rebounds in high school there in the Peach State. Here's a takeaway by Martin. And a Chili Killen, and yep, charge going to go to the former Chapmanville Regional star here in the great state of West Virginia.
And that's just a poor job running the break. Obina's doing a good job of filling the lane. He's one of your big guys. Don't feed your big guy where he's going to take a couple dribbles, in a congested area. There he picked up the charge. Wait till he gets a little bit closer to the basket to dish it to him. But good job by Ohio getting back, taking the charge. And, they sort of righted the ship. They were down 15. Now they've cut it to 9, and now they're back in this game.
Well, it was Hadaway who hit that three. We talked about that, Auden, and he takes the charge there. He has the basketball in his hands. And Hadaway is cut, isn't he? He's a good-looking player. Driving on the baseline, James. And a foul going to be called on the Thundering Herd. Break in the action. Foul was on Anachili Killen, his third. Bobcats trail by 9 here in Huntington.
Who says that business isn't personal? That what we do should be separate from who we are? At Encova Insurance, we do things differently. Our agents partner with small businesses to get to the heart of what matters. Because we're in the peace of mind business, and we take that very personally with auto, home, and business insurance. At Encova, we're ready for what's next.
Ladies and gentlemen, the power of a word. The anticipation, the adrenaline, the hair on the back of their necks rising. The crowd, the score rising. Greatness rising, the sun rising. Sometimes a word is best left all by itself. The Sun Belt Conference, 14 universities, 10 states, rising.
Back inside the Cam Henderson Center. A little tic-tac-toe action going on at the moment here in between game action and the timeout. Well, Ohio has won 2 in a row. Marshall has lost 2 in a row. And Cornelius Jackson said, you know, just a little concerned about his team's energy. Now, they did erase the 15-point deficit against Wright State, fell short. And, you know, I'm sure that might be a message here at the moment because, you know, Ohio, again, still trailing by 9, but they just have had the upper edge here in recent trips up and down the floor.
Yeah, Marshall lost focus there after that quick 7-0 run to start the half. But if you're Coach Jackson, you can rely on that experience at Wright State. Tell the guys, hey, we were just on the other end of that. We were down 15. You see, it can be done. That can be overcome. We really got to lock in here. Let's try to keep them, you know, between the 7 to 12 range, and let's not let it get any closer than that.
Elmore James, Brush High School out of Cleveland, averaged 29.8 points per game in high school. Coming in here, averaging 10.3, hits both free throws there. He's a perfect 2 of 2 there at the line on that trip. He's an 89.3% free throw shooter. Nate Martin down low and scores it.
And that's what Marshall needs to do the second half is attack Clayton. He's been out of the game with foul trouble. You know, he's not in his rhythm. Keep going after him and try to keep him from feeling good. If you can get a couple buckets on a row, maybe that'll affect his offense end. So keep attacking him. Keep feeding the ball inside if you're Marshall.
Brown couldn't get the shot to drop for the Bobcats. Marshall back to work with Jalen Spear, Ryan Nutter, Nate Martin, Cade Gibbs, Michael Dawson out there on the floor at the moment for the Thundering Herd. Here is Gibbs working against A.J. Clayton, and a collision off the miss. Hadaway hit the deck. Brown on the floor for the Bobcats along with Jackson Pavletsky. We're going to have some change here, and it will be Searles coming in, Vic Searles, and heading out will be Brown. And Wyatt Fricks will head into the game for the Thundering Herd, and Martin will take a break. Cornelius Jackson, head coach of the Herd, waiting his big man as he comes off the floor.
And that's a tough foul if you're Nate Martin. He's got 3 fouls now. 2 of them have been, you know, offensive rebound fouls where, you know, he's just been a little too big, too strong, and too aggressive going after the ball and, you know, knocking around some of the Ohio players. So that's a tough way to pick up your 3rd foul.
You got A.J. Sheldon to A.J. Clayton. Sheldon, bouncer to James. James fade away, can't get it to go. And it'll be Marshall's basketball. Good defense there by the Herd. Ryan Nutter will enter the front court here. Penetrates. Here's Dawson, guarded closely there by James. And James will be whistled for the foul, which will be number 2.
And with the way Mike's been shooting the ball, guys are going to have to get up in them like that. So when they're that close, you just beat them off the dribble and force them to foul you. So good job by Mike there, attacking the closeout, getting you know, his shoulders by him and forcing James to foul him.
Jalen Spear gets it into Ryan Nutter. Spear attacks, and then a beautiful pass to Wyatt Fricks, who is on the board with his first basket of the game. Fricks coming in, averaging 6.5. That's to Searles, and they say it will be last touch by Fricks. .52-41 game here. 13:46 remaining in the contest. 109th meeting all time between Ohio and Marshall. Searles backing in. Back out it goes to Sheldon. And Sheldon gets it into the hands of Jackson Pawelecki, the junior from Kimberly, Wisconsin. Tough shot there on the baseline, won't go. And Cade Gibbs, who came in averaging close to 3 rebounds a game, gets the snag there for the Thundering Herd.
You'll notice, Mark, the last few possessions, Ohio's looked like they're sort of in mud. Marshall's done a good job of keeping the ball in front of them. They've kept them from, swing, getting that ball moving, getting player movement. Marshall's done a good job really, taking the challenge, keeping their men in front and making sure there's no gaps or any rhythm for Ohio on the offensive end. You force a shot clock violation, and then you just got another tough shot at the end of it.
There's that play a moment ago that Frickson Searles battling for the basketball. And here's a takeaway by Dawson, and tight ropes the sideline and off of his foot. Good job there defensively by Dawson, just maybe a little ahead of himself there.
Well, I'll tell you what he did wrong is he didn't shoot the ball from 3. When you're shooting the way he is, you dribble right into that 3-point line and you let it fly.
Pawelecki in front of the Bobcat bench. Here's Sheldon. He'll let it fly, and good aim at it, but just a little short. It will be Marshall's basketball. So Hayden Hadaway is back in the game. Yeah, some discussion here. A little bit of
both coaches are unhappy. Corney's getting held back, and now it looks like Coach Bowles is being held back on his bench. Both coaches are, flirting with that line of getting a technical foul. A lot of energy, here this second half. Both coaches realize how important of a game this is. Somebody's going to get a good win and sort of get feeling good and get moving in the right direction. The other one's going to be, feeling pretty bad about where they're at on this year.
There's Nutter in trouble. Nutter will get it into the hands of Gibbs, and then Gibbs will lift it up there. Couldn't get it to fall through. Rebound by Searles. Here come the Bobcats. Elliott is back in the game for Ohio. Elijah Elliott wears number 6. Yeah, I think there was discussion between Dawson and James, and
well, he's just telling them where to go eat after the game before they go back to Athens. I'm sure they weren't really saying anything too bad.
You got to remember now, Jeff Bowles coached in Huntington. He was on the staff, so he knows all the good places.
Yeah, and you think this game isn't important to him for that reason is, anytime you've moved on from somewhere, you always want to go back and put your best foot forward. So, he's wanting to come in here and get out here with a win.
Dawson comes up with that errant pass. Here's Gibbs with it. Dawson picked up there by A.J. Sheldon. Dawson, nice little move on the baseline and got it to go through. Dawson with 19 in the contest, 54-41.
And Mark, he looks like a different guy than the one who was here the first, 5 or so games of the season. This Mike Dawson that's playing right now for Marshall, is going to be one of the top 5-10 guys in the Sun Belt Conference. His confidence is to another level, and his game is just taking off.
Bobcats needed a big bucket, and they got it from Brown, and Brown does a pretty nice job there keeping the ball alive. Sheldon to Hadaway. Hadaway gets it to Brown, and Brown has scored 5 in a row here.
And, the game's gotten disjointed, and Ohio's been able to, take advantage of that, cut the lead down to 8. Now they have a little bit of momentum. Coach Jackson doing a great job here, just taking a timeout, stemming the tide. Let's get focused. Let's draw up a play. Let's see if we can't find a good look and see if we can get a little bit of momentum and get this thing back out to double digits.
A.J. Brown now with 20 in the game, including this three-pointer. Marshall up 54-46. Back in a moment to Huntington.
For the love love of football, derbies, ultras, and Humba. And every match on ESPN+.
Nothing like in the Bundesliga.
For the love of braces and hat-tricks.
With a belter.
Belters and wonder goals.
Oh, that's a wonder goal.
Number 9s and the Torschützenkönig. For the love of the Invincibles.
Leverkusen, unbeaten champions.
For the love of Bundesliga. Exclusively on ESPN+.
Hey, college basketball fans.
Andrea Carter here
Jay Billis here.
to remind you that your favorite teams and conferences
Are on ESPN Plus.
If you love college basketball like me and the Billustrator,
Then it's time to get in the game and sign up to ESPN Plus.
you get a stellar slate of in-conference games
Including the Big 12, Atlantic 10, and many more.
that will feel like March.
We got to go to work.
Sign up now and catch your favorite teams.
You ready for the NFL playoffs?
What you got, Chad?
Let's put cameras on every player. Weather and 4D. Hibachi vendors.
What do you want? Shrimp. Okay, wait up.
So you guys like my ideas?
No.
Hey, college basketball fans.
Your favorite teams and conferences,
Are on ESPN Plus.
you get a stellar slate of in-conference games
Including the Big 12, Atlantic 10, and many more.
Sign up now and catch your favorite teams.
This is an ESPN Sonic blockbuster.
I take the first shot, you keep it coming. We know a lot about turning nothing to something.
He is must-see television every time he puts that uniform on.
College basketball, it never disappoints.
How fun is this?
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN.
Back inside the Cam Henderson Center, a 54-46 lead for the Thundering Herd of Marshall over the Ohio Bobcats. Marshall in at 5-5, Ohio 4-5. Ohio looking for its first road win of the season. Jeff Bowles' crew 0-3 at the moment.
And this is a big couple-minute stretch here if you're Marshall. You know, you had the lead pushed out. Ohio's now, cut it back to 8. And the game's getting chippy. So this is one of those times in the game where it could go either way. Hopefully, if you're Coach Jackson, you've put a good play in, get a good shot here and see if you can't get back to double figures and give yourself a little more cushion.
In Ohio, the preseason #1 pick in the Mid-American Conference, followed by Akron, Kent State, Toledo, Bowling Green, Miami, Ball State, Central and Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, Northern Illinois, and Buffalo. Whistle and a foul here, and going to go on Gibbs.
And that's a great job on Sheldon there, not falling asleep. They were running sort of a double stagger, and they were coming to set a flare screen, or not a flare screen, but an elevator screen on Dawson. He stayed close, stayed connected. He got in between them just in time and got the moving screen, but it did him no good because there's Gibbs to the other way, getting a steal, pushing the lead back to 10.
Gibbs with his first bucket of the game. Check out his second bucket of the game, forgive me. And they stop, and it's a 56-46 game here. Ryan Nutter to Gibbs. Here is Spear. Spear launching in and out. Fricks with the big rebound and the stuff. Wyatt Fricks with 4 now in the game. Marshall on top at 58-46. Elliott driving in. Tough shot by Elliott, scoring his first basket of the game. 15 points now on the season for Elliott. But how about the big step there by Fricks? There'll be a whistle here on the Bobcats.
And these last 2 plays epitomize what Wyatt Fricks could be. Just a supreme athlete there, able to get the putback dunk. Then next play out in transition, Euro step, draws the foul. He's a guy that if you just get a little more consistent, he could be a huge piece to this Marshall rotation because he shoots the ball well. He's a supreme athlete. He just does a little bit of everything. And if Coach Jackson can sort of unlock his potential, Marshall would go to a new level.
On the season, Fricks at the free throw line. 4 of 6 now. A.J. Clayton back in. Jackson Pavletsky is back in. Big strong rebound there by Brown. The talk about Fricks was just that, you know, he just fell in love with being in the gym and, you know, has really worked on making his game better. But again, all the tools there with his size and athleticism. Here's Brown. Hadaway. Pavletsky negotiating there against Spear. Pavletsky in trouble. Kicks it on the baseline, and Brown. Boy, I'm telling you what, Brown has had himself a nice game here.
It is the holiday season. What can Brown do for you? He can do a lot. There's 22 with 10 minutes left in this game, and you know he's single-handedly been the driving force behind their offense, and you know kept them in contact with this Marshall team.
Then Frick slips away and gets another dunk there. Frick's now with 6 in the contest, 62-50. Pavletsky against Spear and throws it up there, and Spear will be called for the foul.
And that's a tough foul if you're Marshall. Spear played pretty good defense there. Pavletsky sort of just put his head down and threw his body into Spear and was able to draw the whistle. If you're Coach Jackson, you just tell Jalen Spear, hey, keep playing like that. You're not going to get that call very often.
Pavletsky at the line, 6-foot junior. 23 this season against Moorhead. And it's 5 now in the game. 78.4% free throw shooter. His career high is 25 when he was playing for Wofford and was the Southern Conference Freshman of the Year. He scored those 25 against the Purple Paladins of Furman, who used to make visits here into the Cam Henderson Center. 60-52 game. Fricks wants a 3 from the corner, and Hadaway with a nice rebound. Hadaway averages over 4 per game on the boards. Pavletsky to Hadaway. Backing in against Nutter. Now going to pass it over. Brown is open, and Brown, boy, but the only thing that hasn't gone through today for Brown, that was a good-looking shot, but just could not get it to fall through.
No, that's definitely a breakdown in the Marshall defense. Is if you have to let anybody shoot on Ohio's team tonight, you don't want Brown being the one pulling a wide-open jumper, and they're fortunate and dodged the bullet right there on that possession.
Obina and a Chili Killen, Nate Martin, both return to the floor for the Thundering Herd. Zane Mingo getting set to check back in. Ryan Nutter with the basketball. Nutter down low, trying to get it into the hands of Martin, and knocked away. So Zane Mingo will head back in, and Ryan Nutter checks out.
Look for Mike Dawson to get a corner 3 here off this set. Back screen gets flared out. Almost had it, but it was a good job right there by Brown being awake, but it didn't matter. He still got that 3, Mark.
Man, just steps back and knocks it through, his 5th of the game.
You know, unfortunately, if you're Coach Bowles, there's only a handful of people in the gym that didn't think Mike was going to shoot that one, and they just all happened to be playing defense for him. So everybody else seems to know Mike Dawson, once he gets the ball, is going up, but the Ohio defenders still seem to give him a little bit of room.
And then you see that guy named Elmore James hitting the 3. And the Bobcats not about to go away here. 63-55. Just what you want in this 109th meeting all time between these great rivals, great schools, wonderful programs. 63-55 our score, 7:29 remaining in the contest, and we return to the Cam Henderson Center in a moment. A good one between the Bobcats and the Herd.
Hey folks, Midway USA has just about everything you need to be successful on the water, from rods, reels, line, to lures, even marine products. Check them out, midwayusa.com.
Tap into the game and your people. Tap into an entire world of sports. Tap into an entire world of sports. ESPN. Tap into the game and your people. Tap into an entire world of sports. You could just watch ESPN, but why not tap in? Tap into peak fandom. Tap into who's hot, who's who, and who's got the takes. Tap into fast friends. Tap into the thing that becomes your thing, that becomes everything. Tap into an entire world of sports.
Welcome back inside the Cam Henderson Center. It is a 63-55 lead for the Thundering Herd. Two players with 22 in the game, including Mike Dawson.
Yeah, Mike Dawson and then Brown for Ohio are both filling it up. If you're Ohio, well, really, if you're both teams, figure out where those guys are and don't let them shoot. Make somebody else beat you. Those guys have shown they're extremely hot tonight, and they're capable of, sort of putting the team on their back, and both guys have done just that so far. So try to force somebody else to beat you. So whichever team can slow down the other guy, I look to, have success here this last 7.5 minutes.
Jeff Bowles and his crew, Kyle Barlow, Lamar Thomas, Lee Martin, Mike Siflaku, helping make up that great staff for Coach Bowles. Marshall working with Dezane Mingo, Jalen Spear, Nate Martin, Mike Dawson, and Obina Anachili-Killen. Bobcats countering with Elmore James, Aiden Hadaway, Jackson Pavletsky, A.J. Brown, and A.J. Clayton.
Refs are going to go to the monitor here, Mark, to see if the shot clock should have reset. I don't believe the ball actually hit the rim. So it looks like Marshall should have just 2 seconds here on this inbounds play to get a shot up.
Again, the Bobcats looking for that first win of the season on the road. Let's take a look at the Bobcats' upcoming schedule and what lies ahead for Coach Bowles' crew. Back home at the Convocation Center in Athens, December 18th, to meet up with Austin Peay. Then the Muskies of Muskegum will invade, and then you get going with conference play. Exciting time, boy, when that calendar flips. And it's going to be time to see those teams, Central Michigan and Buffalo. They'll hit the road for the first two before that first home game in conference play against Northern Illinois. Well, Clayton got a piece of that one, I believe, and here come the Bobcats, a chance to trim into this Marshall lead, and Hadaway, left-hander, can't get it to go. Brown with a nice rebound. Pavletsky drives in. He can't get it to go, so some opportunities there for the Bobcats, but they come away empty. Here comes Dezane Mingo wheeling, and a whistle. Mingo hit the deck. Foul on A.J. Brown. That will be his second.
And that's a good job right there by Mingo. Just last possession, he drove in there, got a shot blocked. He didn't let that deter him. Still kept his head down, got to the rim again, did what he's supposed to do, and drew the foul. So great job by a freshman there, not being deterred by a little bit of adversity that previous possession, and now he's going to get 2 free throws as a result.
Zane Mingo at the line. Mingo with 2 points in the game and hits the free throw there, 61.4% on the season, averaging 10.9 a game. Cornelius Jackson said the key to this guy would be just adapting to everything, making the adjustments, and he certainly has. It's both free throws there, and Marshall back up by 10. Pavletsky jab step driving, and a block by Spear coming out of nowhere there, and well, he went up high.
No, great weak side help there. It looked like Pavletsky is going to get it easy too. Marshall able to get the block and then get the ball back and maybe with a chance to push it out.
And Mingo drives in, and a Chili Killen trying to get the great save there. Couldn't do it. Now look here, Rock.
Yeah, I believe it was Obina that actually got the block off the weak side. Spear did a good job trying to wall him off, but, you know, there's Obina. That's what Obina does, and that's just what you expect from him.
I didn't mean to slide Obina there. Good.
Obina gets enough of him. He can afford to give one to Jalen.
How about Clayton there knocking down the shot? His second three of the game. He has 8 in the contest and came in averaging 16.2, 65, 58. I was marveling at Spear and his great defense, and then Obina comes out of nowhere there and got the play. And then Martin here on the offensive end with the bucket. He has 7. Ohio claws back, and then Marshall comes right back. Hadaway going to drive and lay it up with the left hand. Can't get it to go through. Obina and a Chili Killen grabs the rebound. Mingo brings it across the 10-second line here for Marshall. Now here is Jalen Spear, and Spear's shot just off the mark. Clayton with the rebound. Elmore James gliding in, using the right hand there, and couldn't get it to go. Hadaway falls down. The Bulls wanted a call there, didn't get it. Here's Mingo now for Marshall. We're under 5 to play here. Thundering Herd up 67-58.
If you're Marshall, you might want to try to find Dawson. Dawson's been your best offensive player, and they do just that, and it's going to pay off, Mark. Basketball's really not that hard of a game, Mark. You find the guy that's been killing, and you just keep going to him until he stops doing it. In Dawson's case, he's still got the energy. He's still hitting shots. You just got to keep finding him.
All right. Ott's thoughts on that play. And Dawson drills it. And Dawson now at 25 in the contest. It was a beautiful shot, too.
You have to think, if you're Ohio, eventually at some point you're in the huddle. If you're Coach Bowles, you say, hey, let's not let 23 for Marshall shoot the ball. You know, let's sit somebody on his foot, make sure he doesn't get open. But maybe they think he's going to run out of bullets.
Well, Thundering Herd will be back home here on Monday, going up against the Bobcats from West Virginia Wesleyan. The second time this season they have met a team from the Mountain East Conference. They'll be at Southern Miss to begin play in the Sun Belt. And
that'll hold a special spot in a lot of Marshall fans this week, going down to Southern Miss.
Yeah. Earl Tuff, fourth-year head coach of Marshall football, his time last week, guiding Thundering Herd to the Sun Belt Conference Football Championship, but now the head football coach at Southern Miss. And you saw there they'll have matchup on the road at Elon, and then they'll get conference play started. 4 straight games at home: Texas State, Troy, James Madison, and Georgia Southern. All right, 70-58. Bobcats, they've, no pun intended, but they have scratched and clawed throughout this game to stay in it.
And Marshall's done a good job of keeping the space, keeping the distance. Yeah. Yes, there's been a couple games at home this year. Morehead State, Southern Indiana, where they weren't able to do that. They built big leads and let them back in it. But this game, they've done a good job of getting the space, keeping the space, and giving themselves a little bit of room for error.
Here is Elmore James. His shot won't go. And Marshall gathers it in. Mingo across the timelines. We go under 4 minutes to play here in the basketball game. 109th meeting all time between Marshall and Ohio.
And I can tell you they're giving Dawson too much space right now. Brown's too far in the lane. Here in a minute, the ball's going to get swung, and Dawson's going to get an open look.
Dawson fires. Dawson can't get that one to go. Clayton soars to get the rebound. Here comes Pavletsky. Give it to Clayton. Clayton's got that great release, and he knocks it through. Clayton with 3 threes in the game. He's in double figures with 11. (70-61) to Zane Mingo. And Jalen Spear has it for the Herd. Mingo looking down for Nate Martin, and Martin will be fouled by Brown. That'll be his 3rd. And that is going to bring a break in the action here with 3:04 to go in the contest. And Marshall with a 9-point lead over the visiting Bobcats of Ohio. And how about Dawson Audelmore?
He's doing what he's been doing, knocking down shots. As a result, Marshall's built a 9-point lead. And we'll be back after the break to see how this finishes.
Now Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your taxes yourself 100% free if you didn't file with us last year. Now this is taxes. File free in the app by 2/18 when you switch to TurboTax Do It Yourself.
This is a got up too fast from tying your shoes back injury. Lucky for you, Amazon One Medical can help. They're great for sneeze-related back injuries too.
I'm an overpowered leaf blower, and I'm not exactly street legal. And if you don't have the right auto coverage, this could really blow your budget. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
At Bombas, we dream of comfort, movement, softness. We believe your basic things should be your very best things, which is why we make the most comfortable socks in the history of feet. Slippers you'll float in, and underwear and tees that feel like clouds. No, bunnies. As always, one purchased equals one donated. Bombas. Visit bombas.com and get 20% off your first order.
You know, A.J. Brown, a season ago, dealt with a shoulder injury and missed a big chunk of the season. He is a tough player, and at this moment, he has 22 and trying to have a strong finish here and see if Ohio can get out of here with a road win. Marshall, meanwhile, trying to cling to this 9-point bulge over the Bobcats and get that 6th victory of the campaign.
Yeah, you mentioned he has 22, but the good thing if you're Marshall is he had 22 at the last media timeout as well. So Marshall's finally done a good job of finding him, making sure, you know, he's not scoring, he's not the one beating you. So they've done a good job sort of slowing Ohio down, and especially Brown these last few minutes. So that's the only positive stat I can give you about Brown, because otherwise he's, you know, took Marshall to task.
So Zane Mingo has the basketball, bounces it to Nate Martin. Martin on the move with the hop, and a foul will be called.
And that's a good set right there by Coach Jackson out of the timeout. You got all your cutters coming across one way, getting the defense flowing one way, and you got Nate ripping and going the opposite way away from the help. Excellent job of out of bounds under, or out of the timeout set up by Coach Jackson.
And if Ohio is to battle back here, going to be careful, because A.J. Brown, that was his 4th foul of the game. And here is Martin working hard against Brown, trying to draw that 5th. Here's Jalen Spear. Bina Anachilla-Killen tried to save it and could not do so. Anachilla-Killen double-double here, 10 points, 10 rebounds. Marshall by 9. Ohio with the basketball. 2.5 minutes remaining in this one. Had away to Clayton. Clayton, boy, I tell you what, he's just got that quick release, and he knows what he wants to do, and that ball's in his hands. And here's a takeaway by the Herd. Spear comes up with it. You know, Clayton had that good look. And
no, he did. They had been running where he sets a down screen, but Coach Bowles, you know, switched it up. So instead of him setting the down screen, the guard back, you know, flare screen Clayton out. He got a good look, and fortunately for Marshall, he missed it because that's not the look you want to give up at this point in the game.
And a Chili Killen using his great length to reel in that pass. Turns around and knocks it down. Big bucket for the Thundering Herd. Lead now 11. Paveletsky, the junior, lets it fly, and it won't drop through. And then Elmore James and Jalen Spear tied up there. Possession arrow points in the direction of Ohio.
But that last possession, that just comes down to Obina, big-time player, making a big-time play. Offense really broke down. Late shot clock. He got to a spot, rose up, knocked it down, and that could be, you know, the dagger, so to speak, for this game.
Had away with that beautiful left-handed shot, but he couldn't get that one to go. Now here comes Marshall, and a foul from behind there. Paveletsky.
Tell you what, if we play the foul game for the last 121, I'm going to have a flashback to the Southern Indiana game that we did.
Well, at the moment, let's see here, buddy. Marshall 6 of 9 at the line, and the Bobcats, they're 9 of 9. So we got a long way to go to get those. What was it, 86? Mingo delivers. Marshall shot 50 in the game. Nutter is in, and Spear will check out. Jalen Spear.
You know, Coach Jackson tinkered with the lineup, putting Spear in for Nutter to start this game, and it looks like it's paid off. Marshall came out early, you know, played well early, and has been, you know, in firm control of this game ever since, you know, midway point of the first half.
And Spear with 12, and driving is Paveletsky, and a foul will be called. Obina and Chili Killen picking up his 4th foul. 74-61 game here. Paveletsky will go to the free throw line. And the perfection. Continues at the stripe for the Bobcats. I said that, though, before he hit that one. I just about jinxed him, didn't I?
The reverse jinx.
11 of 11 at the free throw line. Marshall, though, leads by 11 here with 1:07 to go.
And Coach Bowles has been telling his guys, you know, force the ball to Nate Martin as soon as he gets it fouled. So if you're Nate, you need to step up, take care of business, knock down free throws at the line. You know, he probably loves being this player because, you know, now it's a chance for him to get free points. And Nate's been traditionally a very good free throw shooter, although this year, you know, his numbers are a little bit down as opposed to last year.
1 of 2 at the line here in this game. 1 of 3 now. Here's Clayton straight away and knocks it in. Is the bank open?
The bank is open.
74-66.
And that's why it was so important that Marshall got him in foul trouble early, took him out of the game. You know, he has 14 points, but 9 of them have been in the last 2-3 minutes once he finally got a shot to go in his rhythm. So that was big for Marshall that he's, you know, was out of the game that first half, and, you know, it took a while for him to find his rhythm.
Yeah, Clayton, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Nutter can't get the free throw to drop. Bobcats are 9 of 29 from the three-point line. Marshall, 8 of 19. Timeout on the floor here.
Coach Bowles unhappy with the refs. He felt like Paveletzky got fouled on that drive. Obina came down on him after blocking the shot. He's taking a timeout just to have a little chat with the officials.
Another look at it here, Rod.
And he has a little bit of a point. Obina gets it clean up top, but then boom, just crushes little Paveletzky, falls down on him. So I can see why Coach Bowles is a little bit upset with the no call there.
Now for Anichili Killen, his third block of the game. So 12 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks and a steal in 28 minutes. And he's a guy that, you're a new coach, head coach, and Cornelius Jackson, and when two guys like Obina, Anichili Killen, and Nate Martin say, hey, we're going to come back and play for you, so that makes you rest easier at night.
No, he gave them 2 cornerstone pieces to build around. And Obina's sort of been up and down this year, but this is the Obina Marshall needs to win. His scoring numbers aren't off the charts this game, just 12 points, but he's got double-double. He's got double-digit rebounds. He's been blocking shots. He's been a menace on the defensive end. He's made good decisions on the offensive end. So when he plays like this, he's a special player. He's an all-conference level player. So it's good to see him sort of getting the best out of Obina this game.
Yeah, he was a second-team preseason selection. Michael Dawson leading at Marshall tonight with 25. He had 28 in a game in Bowling Green, Kentucky against the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky into Clayton, and Clayton will score it there. 74-68. Mingo will be fouled by Paveletzky.
Marshall's leaving a lot of points on the board. The last 2 possessions, they missed front ends of 1-and-1s. Ohio's able to score 5 points as a result. Now they've cut this to a 6-point game. So you got to make your free throws, and you got to shut the door on this Ohio team because they're not going to go away.
And Mingo was 4 of 4 until that miss there. Marshall 8 of 14. Mingo up and in. Zane Mingo with 7 points in the game. 75-68. Paveletzky working, putting it up and dropping it through. Good hard work there by Paveletzky, who now has 10 in the game.
And Ohio's done a good job of, scoring quickly the last 3 or 4 possessions, keeping the pressure on Marshall. At any point if they would have missed, the game might have been over, but they're able to knock that bank in the 3, finish the out-of-bounds play on the lob there. Paveletzky's able to get to the rim, score. So they're keeping the pressure on and keep asking the question of Marshall. And fortunately for Ohio, Marshall's missed some free throws that sort of kept this door cracked open for him.
75-70. Dawson at the free throw line. Up and in with the first one. So Dawson at the line now, 2 of 2 and 26 points. And make it 27. And we have a timeout here to discuss it. 77-70 our score. 109th meeting all time between the two. Ohio leads the series 57-51. Have not won in Huntington since 2011. Marshall trying to keep it that way with little time remaining here.
And at this point in the game, there's just no wide open threes, no wide open layups. Just try to make a couple passes. Just take some time. If they have to make 2 or 3 passes, that'll start to drain the clock. Just don't let them come down and throw anything in real quick. Conversely, once you go on offense, take care of the ball, good passes, come to the ball strong, meet the ball, and make your free throws, and you'll get out of here and you'll get to 6 and 5, and you'll start feeling a little bit better about the season.
You played a lot of basketball in your days. Any one game stand out from a comeback point of view?
Well, it wasn't a huge comeback, but in the NCAA tournament game against Wichita State, that's the one that, comes to mind. We started getting down 6-8 points after keeping it close the whole game, and we're, on the bench, it sort of felt like, oh man, the ride could be over, and then we hit a little spurt, and next thing you know, we're winning the game in the NCAA tournament. So that would probably be the, best comeback memory I have. Is just, it felt like that one was starting to get away from us, and the next thing you know, we made a run, and we're fortunate enough to win.
Wonderful memory, no doubt about it. The youngsters in the house here on this late Saturday afternoon. Marshall and Ohio. Think about what Santa Claus is going to bring him, and maybe an early victory here for the Thundering Herd. Ohio going to attack here. Pavletsky driving Mingo on him. Pavletsky uses the right, can't get it to go. Nice put back there by Hadaway, but he couldn't get it to fall through. And it stays at 77-70. Well, what a game it was for A.J. Brown.
No, but again, we mentioned at the 4-minute mark that, he had 22 with 8 minutes to go. At the 4-minute mark, we mentioned, hey, Marshall's done a good job, cooling off Brown. And there was another 4-minute stretch where Marshall kept him off the board, and that's really been the difference. Is in a close game, just a little victory start to add up, and that was a little victory for Marshall, and it looks like they're going to be able to pull this one out because of it.
Many thanks to Cody Lynn, David O'Leary, Grant Traylor here at Marshall, all their great work, and the great folks at Ohio University. We prepped for this one. Great seeing head coach Jeff Bowles. Mingo at the free throw line, and Mingo will connect. Mingo now with 8, and Marshall leads by 8. He has 9, and the Thundering Herd up 79-70. Pavletsky hands it to Sheldon. Sheldon to Pavletsky, working against Gibbs, and that shot off the mark. Battle for the basketball. Mingo gets it to Gibbs. Gibbs to Nutter, and that will do it. Hard-fought game in this great rivalry. Cornelius Jackson, Jeff Bowles. Great embrace there at midcourt. Great respect for each other. They've known each other a long time. And, you battle and you battle. And then when it's all said and done, the friendship is shown, and it was there. Marshall with the win, 79-70. Thundering Herd improving to 6-5. Ohio drops to 4-6. Michael Dawson led the way for Marshall with 27, and for the Ohio Bobcats, A.J. Brown had 22. Next up for Marshall, Monday night, they'll face off with another set of Bobcats from West Virginia Wesleyan in Buchanan NCAA Division II program. Austin Peay will visit the Convocation Center in Athens to meet up with the Bobcats on December 18th, and safe travels for the Bobcats as they head back to Athens. Well, thoughts on this game?
Great win if you're Marshall. You came in needing this one. You got it. You played very well. You held a team to 70 points. It averages close to 79, so you kept them below their season average. You scored 79 points, which is a good offensive showing. Anytime you can score close to 80, you're doing pretty well. Mike Dawson did what Mike Dawson did. He scored 27 points, helped, steady this team. Not the best performances we've seen out of Obina or Nate in terms of scoring, but you still got it done. The other guys stepped up, and that's what you need to see, because this is a long season. You're going to need games like this where others are able to win it for you.
Well, Marshall snapping a 2-game losing streak, and Ohio's 2-game winning streak comes to an end here at the Convocation Center, getting tables set up for players. Going to have an autograph session here inside the Cam Henderson Center. So Marshall and Ohio for the 109th time. Series now a 57-52 lead for the Bobcats. Thundering Herd getting the victory here today, making it tough on Ohio in games played here in Huntington. Big game for Mike Dawson and Marshall gets the victory by a final of 79-70. So for Odd Elmore, this is Mark Martin. We say so long from the Cam Henderson Center. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Today's game has been a presentation of ESPN.